In Lesson 5, we are going to be looking into climate. Weather and climate are not the same things. The climate of an area does not change as often as the weather. The words weather and climate do not have the same definitions. Weather is made up of all the conditions in one place at a single moment. Weather changes very often. Climate is the average of weather conditions over a long time, usually 30 years. Climate includes things like the average amount of precipitation, the average temperature, and how much the temperature changes during the year. Climates do not change as much as the daily weather does. Landforms can affect climate. Mountain ranges may have different climates than areas around them. Higher land is cooler because temperature decreases with height in the troposphere, but that is not the only way that climate varies around mountains. Areas on opposite sides of a mountain range can have very different climates. For example, the west side of the Cascade Mountains in the western United States has a wet climate. It can get more than 2.5 meters of precipitation each year. Temperate rainforests grow on this side of the mountains, but the area east of the mountains has a dry climate, like a desert. This happens because the air does not have as much moisture in it by the time it reaches that east side. This side, the east side of the mountains, that is the side that does not have any clouds or rain. Like I said before, this is where the moisture is gone because it has already left on the west side of the mountains. Rain shadow deserts form when tall mountain ranges block moisture-laden clouds from reaching areas on the downwind side. As air rises over the mountains, it cools and condenses, causing moisture to be lost as precipitation on the upwind side of the mountain. Very little moisture reaches the downward side of the mountain. As dry air descends, it expands and warms. The warm air flows across the desert, soaking up the small amount of available moisture and carrying it away. Rain shadow deserts are found in the intermountain basins of North America and Asia. The western deserts of North America are greatly influenced by this effect. Oceans can also affect climate. Oceans can affect a climate by slowing the rise and fall of the air temperature. Remember that bodies of water become warm and cool more slowly than land. Because of this, the temperature of the air near an ocean does not change as quickly as air inland. In the summer, the air over the ocean beaches is often cooler than air over areas inland. Ocean currents can make a climate warmer or cooler. The Gulf Stream and the North Atlantic Drift, which we have talked about before in earlier lessons, are large currents that carry warm water northward. The water warms the winds above it. These winds make northern Europe's climate much warmer than it would be otherwise. A change in these currents could change the climate of Europe. On the other hand, cold currents that flow from Alaska to California make that coastal climate cooler. Again, here's the Gulf Stream and North Atlantic Drift. Climate change. There are many events that might cool a climate. The Little Ice Age may have occurred because the sun produced less energy. Volcanic eruptions and asteroid or meteorite impacts may have quickly caused cooler climates in the distant past. They could have done this by putting dust and other materials into the upper atmosphere. These materials can cool the climate by blocking sunlight or reflecting sunlight back into space. Carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor also can make climates warmer. They can be produced by human activities, such as burning coal and gasoline. These gases can also enter the atmosphere naturally, such as through decaying matter, forest fires, volcanoes, and the water cycle. Many different events help to form a climate. Because of this, it is hard to determine why a climate has changed. Scientists have had debates on these changes and will probably have more in the future. Here are the questions you are to answer in your notes. How are weather and climate different? Number 2. What geographical features might affect our local climate? How are fossils used to study past climates? You can find this answer in your book if you do not have it here in the video. What are some things that can cause a sudden climate change? And would a large volcanic eruption cool or warm the climate? And according to the map in this video, how do the Gulf Stream and North Atlantic drift currents affect weather in Europe? And what are some human activities that might have contributed to an increase in average temperature in North America during the 20th century? How?